Hey everybody, so as promised, I said I was going to do a part 2 of the labor tips video where I will be giving you some tips on how you can prepare yourself mentally to go through the process of labor and childbirth. So here we go, this is the video, let's talk about it. How can you prepare yourself mentally for labor, and even while you are in labor, how can you fix your mental state in a way that will help you to get through your natural birth and your natural labor process more successfully? So let's talk about that in this video. So the first thing that you want to do if you hope to give birth naturally, even before you go into labor, is to have a positive mindset about natural birth. Please do not fill your mind with negative experiences about childbirth, because if you already fill your mind with negative experiences, then obviously that's going to create a lot of fear and a lot of anxiety in you when it comes to natural birth. So there are a lot of people's experiences out there that you can find, people sharing their experiences on social media. But just because other people had a bad experience doesn't mean that you are also going to have a bad experience. So please don't fill your mind with negative experiences that people had about natural labor and childbirth, but fill yourself with positive experiences. I know that there are groups and there are pages where people show their experiences on natural birthing, and it's positive, beautiful experiences that will actually get you to see that natural birth is such a beautiful process, and the woman's body is actually very strong. A woman is very strong, you guys. A woman's body is designed to birth naturally. So try and think about that. Fill yourself with affirmations that remind yourself that you are strong, you can do it, and you are able to bring your baby to life in your own strength. Do not fill yourself with negative experiences that are going to cause you to have a lot of fear and a lot of anxiety. And when you are in labor now, how can you continue to be positive? Affirm yourself with every contraction. Just before you feel that contraction coming in, tell yourself that, okay, I can do this, I can do this. This contraction is bringing me close to seeing my baby, and I am one contraction away from seeing my baby. So if you just ensure that you can keep a positive mindset, then definitely you are steps ahead when it comes to getting through your natural labor and birth process. And then another thing that you also want to do, guys, is to practice patience. Patience is a very important quality when it comes to labor and childbirth. And you need to start being patient by being patient in waiting for your labor to come spontaneously and to come naturally. You don't want to drink anything that's gonna make you go into labor prematurely, especially things that you have not been advised to take by your midwife or your obstetrician or gynae that's taking care of you throughout your pregnancy. Do not drink things that people are recommending and saying that they help them to go into labor. Things like your castor oils, things like your isihlambezo. Guys, don't drink anything unless it has been prescribed to you by your gynae, your obstetrician, or your midwife. So you need to be patient as well for the labor to come. When your body is ready and when the baby is also ready, labor is going to come. Okay? And sometimes, no matter what you do, even if you can try all these safe natural methods of inducing labor, still the labor will not come. If your body is not ready and the baby is also not ready, those things are not going to help. So that's where you find that you have to be patient with the process. And even when you are in labor and you're having the contractions, sometimes it can be really mentally draining and really take a toll on you if it seems like your labor is very long. But even then, you need to be patient with the process. Don't try and push before it's time for you to push, because sometimes when you push before it's time for you to push, your cervix can get swollen and it can just sort of like close up where your baby's head's gonna come out. And you also don't want to push before the time, because that can also cause the baby to be in distress as well. So be patient with the process of labor. The baby is going to come when the time is right. And then secondly, I want to mention that don't compare your pregnancy with that of other people, or don't compare your labors as well. If you are someone who's had maybe like 2 natural births and you're pregnant with a 3rd baby right now, do not compare your 3rd pregnancy and your 3rd labor with your previous 2 pregnancies. Every pregnancy is different. Every labor is different. You might find that in your first pregnancy, you had like a long labor. It was so terrible. You expected the worst, and the worst indeed came. And then now you are pregnant with your 2nd child. Do not expect that things are going to be like terrible as well. Because now already you're going to tell yourself mentally that things are going to be worse or terrible. Then you're already going to create that fear and that anxiety. And when you are too anxious during labor, it can actually make your labor prolonged, because the stress hormones do not go with the hormones that help your labor to progress, like your oxytocins. So please try and be calm as much as possible when you are in labor. That will help you to be able to get through the process, and even your labor might go a bit faster. And then 3rd thing that I want to mention is, please ensure that you get a labor support person with you when you go and give birth. And I know that this is very difficult for people who are in the public sector, who'll be giving birth at the public hospitals. You might not be allowed at the hospital to bring someone with you when you go and give birth. Maybe because it's a small facility and it really cannot accommodate a lot of people. But also in other public facilities, there are private doulas who go there and volunteer to help the moms. So maybe if you're going to give birth in a public facility, try and find out if they have any midwives or doulas that actually do go to help the moms who are in labor. Also, I think you can also just try and find out if you can get a doula from the private sector and bring that doula with you when you go and give birth at the public hospital. It's worth a try. I don't know if they will allow it, but I think it's worth a try. Get yourself a doula. A doula will help you immensely when you are in labor. A doula helps you with the exercises that will help your baby to descend and for the labor to progress. Doulas help you emotionally to stay sane even while you're having those contractions. Doulas, they help, they give you massages. Doulas are like such loving people, guys. Doulas are amazing. I really just advise every woman to get a doula when they go and give birth. If you cannot afford a doula and you are going to a facility where you can at least be allowed one person to be with you, get someone that you know is going to be able to help you, to encourage you, to really be there for you and help you to go through the process of labor. Labor is physically taxing and mentally taxing. So you really need someone who's going to be up for the role, to encourage you and to support you and to help you go through that whole process. So labor support person, very, very important. If you are able to get one, I highly advise it. And another thing that you can use, and now this is the 4th point, use distraction techniques. So distraction techniques basically are things that you can do to try and distract you from focusing too much on the pain. So when you are in early labor and the pain is still mild, try and preserve your energy for as much as possible, okay? Maybe if you're at home, you can bounce on the ball, watch your favorite shows on TV, or you can play your favorite music that you know like really, really helps you to be calm, music that really motivates you to do your best. Maybe try reading a book if you like reading, or speak to your family members. Call your family members and talk to them. Don't focus too much on the pain, especially when you're in early labor. Then when you're in active labor where the contractions are stronger and they're quite close together, maybe you can play some music that you know like really helps to motivate you. Maybe reading a book at this time might not be so easy, but maybe music, distract yourself. Having a labor support person as well, it can help to be a distraction. Someone that you can, have a conversation with while you're going going through the contractions, in between the contractions, so that you're just not sitting there and all you're focusing on or thinking about is the pain that you're going through. Have something to distract you so that you can be able to deal with the contractions a bit more better. And then the last thing that I want to mention that I think will really help you mentally: stay at home for as long as possible. And especially if you're going to give birth in the public sector, and you are not allowed to have a labor support person, it's a distressing environment. It's very new. It can cause you to have a lot of anxiety to be alone in this place, and you are in labor and you're watching other moms in the same labor ward who are screaming, who are in labor, they're in pain. Just seeing those people when you are not yet in pain, I think it can do a lot to you psychologically and create a lot of fear for you. So rather stay at home as much as is possible. And please speak to your healthcare provider about when is the best time for you to go to the hospital or go to the birthing center when you are going to give birth, right? So perhaps they will tell you something like, when you're in early labor, stay at home, and then when your contractions are like 3 minutes apart, or you're having like 3 contractions in every 10 minutes, then come. Try and find out when you're expected to get to the hospital so that you can stay for as long as possible in a comfortable environment, which is your home, and then you can get to the hospital hopefully when you're quite far with your labor, and then you can get there, and in a few hours hopefully you can be able to give birth. So those are the tips that I have, guys, that you can try just to prepare yourself mentally for the process of labor, and might even help you to be able to go through the labor as you were going through the pain and the contractions. So I hope these tips really helped you, and please do share them with other people. I'll see you on my next video.